Hi, I'm Bob Trask, and this is our weekly reset. Today, we're going to talk about something I think you're going to really love. We're going to talk about how you get whatever you want, whatever that is, whatever that is, and get it in a way that makes it possible. It's going to be easy? No, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult because life is difficult. But here's the thing. Up until now, a lot of what you wanted has not been possible. So today we're going to find out how it becomes possible. And I mean possible for you without you having to go get another degree in college or do something ridiculous. You know what you want. You want to live in abundance. You want to live in abundance of all good things. Relationships, health, money, career, peace of mind and daily joy. Living in abundance is living fully, living with meaning, living with purpose, with personal purpose, with personal meaning, knowing that you matter. That's refreshing, and it's really different than trying. Because with true abundance, the trying is gone. The doing takes place of the trying. With true abundance, there are no money problems. With robust health, there are no health problems. With trustworthy relationships, there are no relationship problems. With a career that you love, your creativity is, is constantly being rewarded every day. And every day is a new opportunity to find joy. So do you have to create abundance? Is that what we have to do? Do we have to go out and make abundance happen? Is there some special class we have to take and then we have to do certain things to make abundance happen? No. Author Jade Everett reminds us that you don't create abundance. Abundance is always present. You create limitations. I create limitations. You create limitations. We're going to talk a little bit about how we create those limitations and how we can get them out of the way. And we're going to talk a little bit about how smoothly and easily abundance in health, wealth, relationships, and career are in fact given to us as just as all creatures of nature are given what they need. They're all in, they all have this in common. They all have abundance in common. A red-tailed hawk hanging above the desert, just drifting around, has a nest back there with some little baby hawklings, and she has to feed, or he has to feed each one of those hawks half of its weight each day in fresh killed protein. Half of its weight each day in fresh killed protein. Imagine if you had to feed your kids half their weight each day in fresh killed protein. Be pretty difficult to do, wouldn't it? But the hawk doesn't worry. The hawk's abundant. The hawk just goes up there, opens its wings, and just floats around on the air and says, let's see, I got a squirrel, I got a snake, I got a rabbit, and over there I've got it's a mole. I got a mole. So snake, squirrel, rabbit, mole. The kids are probably going to want the snake. So boop, get the snake, take it back to the kids. Kids all go, oh, thank goodness you come back with the snake. Yes, that's great. So all creatures of nature are just are just they're just provided for. But we're not so much provided for. We think, well, I've got to struggle. I've got to struggle and I've got to worry. See, they also struggle, a lot of those creatures. like a polar bear or a seal or any of those. They also have to struggle. They face difficulties, but difficulty and impossibility are two different things. They just go through whatever steps they need to create their reality. So, are we worthy as a polar bear, or as worthy as a ground squirrel, or as worthy as the snake? Are we worthy of having what we need? Because if not, there's a vacancy inside us. And the natural goodness of life that flows into all these other creatures is just then not available to us. So we have to start seeing ourselves as pure and innocent beings, just like the birds of the air and the animals of the field and the fish of the sea. They're all provided for, aren't they? But somehow we think we don't deserve to be naturally provided for. That's because we've been taught we're not worthy of constant joy and goodness of nature which is filled with endless abundance in all things. One of my favorite teachers and authors, Joe Dispenza, says the universe only gives us what we think we're worthy of receiving. So we're going to talk here today about how to receive our goals easily. I don't mean that it won't be difficult, but we move through the difficulties easily. We have a choice now. See, almost all of us are carrying old regrets or new regrets. Some of us even have resentments and old guilts. We can't create a good reality from there. No rabbit hopping around in the brush has resentment or guilt or regrets. No, no, no eagle hanging over the mountains on an updraft of air. No great blue whale breaching in the great northern sea. No animal anywhere on the planet has guilt or resentment or shame or any of that. They all flow with nature. But we have our choices. We can either have abundance or we can have bitterness, but we can't have both. So if we want abundance, then we need to get rid of the rest of that stuff. If our natural creative power, and it is a natural creative power, we came here, each one of us, unique and individual. There's never been nor ever will be another you. Never, ever. Another me. Never, ever. We're the only ones. We're solitary. And so and so we each come here unique and individual with individual thumbprints, with individual eye prints, with individual neuronal patterns through our bodies, with individual voice prints. We're all unique individual DNA individuals. And because of that, we are able to create individuality into the world around us. We are able to create what no one else ever was able to create. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. It doesn't have to be a new kind of airplane. It doesn't have to be something like stupendous. It could be a new recipe. Every day by day, we create day by day. Constantly, we come up against opportunities for creation. Shall I do it this way or shall I do it this way? Or, well, I've got a better idea. Why don't I try this way? We are constantly, but we're creators. But some of us are so burdened by our sense of self, the dark sense of self, the shadow sense of self, so burdened by that we're not creating. We're just trying to get by. We're just trying to survive, trying to thrive. So our natural creative power is being sabotaged, isn't it? by resentment or old guilt. And and if that's true, we're going to be doomed to live with that scarcity until we get rid of it. In order to create the lives we deserve, we have to be able to free ourselves from those old guilts and resentments and you're so precious. You are so precious. And resentment is not natural to you. It's not natural. It's an add-on. Nothing that's ever happened to you has taken away from your preciousness. Nothing. Nothing is taken away from your preciousness. And if you can live in that knowledge of that preciousness, then all good will come your way. Let's make sure then that our way forward is clear of the darkness of unforgiveness, of rejection. Because the thing that about the animals that I mentioned earlier is that they all accept reality as it is. They don't know how to reject anything. We have these incredible minds and brains, and we reject things. They don't know how to reject things. They live in acceptance. And I'm not saying that we can't use our good brains to judge things. But sometimes when we judge things, those judgments come back on us. You know, when you were a little baby, when you were first born, you didn't see anything being right or anything being wrong. You had no idea what was right or what was wrong. And so then little by little, when you were a year old or 2 years old, you begin to have experiences, negative experiences and positive experiences. And because your parents, they didn't know what we know now. And your teachers, they didn't know what we know now. So they would teach you to blame yourself. If you had a negative experience, if you did something, what they would say wrong, if you broke something, if you did something that was out of the ordinary of what they thought was good behavior, then they taught you to blame yourself. So you began to build an identity of blame. But you were never at blame. Blame is a lie. It's a lie. You can't blaming. We need to be accountable. We need to own what we do. We need to say, yes, I did that. I'm accountable for that. But to blame myself means that I get an identity. I take on an identity of blame. So then when somebody comes along and hurts me, then I say, I deserve that. I mean, I don't say it mentally, but somewhere in my subconscious mind, I say, I deserve that because I'm not a really good person. And we built that up throughout our whole lifetime, and it's time to let it go. Let's let it go. Let's get rid of that darkness of unacceptableness and unforgiveness. Let's get rid of that. Whoever hurt you, you have some resentment towards somebody, whoever hurt you, they were coming from their own smallness, their own meanness. They also were raised crippled. You don't have to go there. You don't have smallness and meanness inside of you. You're not small. You're not mean. Don't get pulled into someone else's game. So here's how we get into abundance, into pure abundance. Here's how miracles happen. It's called the law of attraction. Dun, dun, dun. The law of attraction, which is the law of magnetism, which simply means that like attract like, and that you, as a magnet, will attract that to you which you hold in consciousness, in pure and clean consciousness, in mind and in heart. But we must practice gratitude and generosity and love. Otherwise, our efforts are going to be in vain. We have to practice those things. So if I want something and I have that in mind, then the question is, then what should I do? Because there's going to be some doingness involved. And I need to do those. Raj Shamani, an author who spoke before the United Nations, says the law of attraction only works for people who actually put in the work. So let's put in the work. In this universe, there's no absence of anything. No absence of anything in this universe. No absence of anything. Everything exists. Whatever you need is already there. It already exists in consciousness. It may not have a physical form yet, but it exists in consciousness. And when you envision with a loving heart what you want and feel yourself already having it, feel its presence, feel its energy, feel the pleasure of having it, feel it and hold that feeling, then you as a magnet are attracting it to you. And that's the basic law of attraction. Author and speaker Gabby Bernstein said, the universe is an abundant flow of positive, powerful energy. When you align with that loving, powerful force of energy, you become a magnet for more of it. Now, someone will ask, hey, if it was that easy, how come it hasn't happened already? I mean, you're talking about how easy it is, but how come it hasn't already happened? So we can want something with all of our hearts. But as I said earlier, you have to be worthy of having it, or it can never be yours. The energy of our magnetic attraction will be canceled out by unworthiness. Personal unworthiness is the most common reason people don't get what they want. If you take a magnet and surround it by lead, there's no magnetic action that comes out of it. The lead that we surround our magnetic personalities with is unworthiness, which is resentment, which is guilt, which is shame, which is anger, which is regret, all of that stuff. I should have done this. It should have been this way. Why wouldn't it have been that way? Why did they do this? How come this happened? Why didn't... Acceptance. It is the way it is. It is the way. If it is the way it is, then it is the way. Acceptance. Let all the rest of that stuff go and be back at neutral again. Look at it this way. If I want a pair of shoes and I go to the store and I buy a pair of shoes, and I say, yeah, it's a nice pair of shoes. I'll take those shoes. And then I put the shoes on and I walk out of the store and I don't notice the shoes again. I never notice them again. I pay no attention to them. Then I might as well have come home with the box the shoes came in, because I don't appreciate my shoes. I'm not loving my shoes. I'm not in gratitude for my shoes. A lot of people do that. They get the image that they want, but they don't get the shoes because they're not worthy. For example, if someone wants to be a music star, big singing star, and then suddenly they get it. They make a record and suddenly they're very famous. Well, then then they get what they want. And if they're not worthy of it, then they get the box the shoes came in. They may be famous, but like Elvis Presley, he was this little country boy playing his guitar, and then he was suddenly this incredibly famous one, probably at that point the most famous person in the world. And he had incredible hotels and mansions and hot and cold running women and everything that he could possibly ask for, but he wasn't worthy of any of that. And so he had to do drugs. He wasn't doing drugs when he was a boy down in the South, just sitting under a tree playing his guitar. But now that he's famous, he has to do drugs because now he has to make up for the fact that he's got all this stuff, but he's not worthy of it. And how many of those great stars get caught up in drugs and alcohol and multiple marriages and depression and sometimes suicide because they got the box the shoes came in. So we need to accept life as it is and accept it and be so grateful for it. Rhonda Byrne said, she's the one who wrote The Secret. She said, bless everything in your life. And as you do, you will have ignited the law of attraction into powerful action for all good to come to you. Now, is there an easy way to drop this old baggage of regrets and stuff? Yeah, there is. The surest way to erase those old darknesses, and I said it just a minute ago, here it is, it's through gratitude, through recognizing and being daily grateful for everything we can think of, everything. Right now, where you sit or stand, right now, what are you grateful for? Everything in your life itself, your body, your food, where you live, your friends, those people who love you. It goes on and on and on and on. And it's the power of that gratitude that becomes the foundation of clean, pure energy, the foundation of the basic law of attraction. And gratitude just dissolves all our old fears and regrets, and it dissolves all that stuff. It just dissolves it. So you want to get rid of it? That's the way you do it. Practice gratitude every single day. So it's step number one in making the law of attraction work. Step number one, gratitude. The second step is knowing exactly what I want and keeping that vision clearly in my mind and heart. My vision has to be a beam of light reaching into the vastness of consciousness, in the vastness of the invisible universe, bringing into being that which I want. If I order something online, then I have to name it, right? I can't say, okay, I'm going to order a pair of shoes online. So you go online and you just say, yeah, send me a pair of shoes. No, you have to know the shoe, the maker, the color, the size, exactly what you want. You have to know exactly. And you have the same thing with getting what you want from the universe. You have to visualize what it is, exactly what it is, not about exactly what it is. And then focus on that. And as you focus on it and feel it within you, you bring it into reality. And live in gratitude, and be clear about what we want. And here comes the last and the greatest part of attracting our dreams through the law of attraction. We have to be enjoying the gift before it comes. Before it comes. So I put into my mind a vision of that's something I want. And if it just stays in my mind, just a vision in my mind, then it's not going anywhere. It has to come into my heart. I have to be feeling it. For example, if I want a vacation in Hawaii, maybe I've never been to Hawaii, but I want to go to Hawaii. I've heard about Hawaii. I want to have a vacation in Hawaii. So I have the vision, and I've checked the airline fees, and I've checked the hotels, motels, or wherever I might be able to stay. Checked whatever island I want to stay on. So now I'm visualizing it. Visualize, visualize, visualize. But somehow nothing's happening. I have to be able to smell the flowers of Hawaii. I have to be able to see that deep blue sea. Maybe I need to go online and look at pictures or videos. I have to be able to hear the Hawaiian music. I have to be Not only holding that vision, I have to be that vision. I'm feeling it. This is the way to have your most precious dreams of life come true. You have to be able to feel it. Hold that vision and feel it, experience it, and be worthy of it, and be grateful for it. You know what? If you can envision it and hold that vision in your mind, whatever it is, think with me now. I know you've got a vision there somewhere. Just whatever that is, put it in your mind, what you really want. Then feel it, feel it, feel it, feel it. Feel yourself having that. Be grateful, grateful, grateful for everything in your life, and grateful for the vision, and grateful for the feelings that this vision is giving you. And then move forward and do whatever the work is. It's not enough for me to just say, I'm seeing myself being in Hawaii. I'm going to have to buy an airline ticket. I'm going to have to rent a room. So there's some pieces that you're going to have to do. But your imagination, if you can imagine it, you can create it. And that's not just Pollyanna speaking. Einstein once said, imagination is greater than knowledge. He also said, imagination is everything. He said, imagination is the preview of life's coming attractions. See what I'm saying? That's Einstein. And Paulo Coelho, I love this guy, love his books, said, when you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you achieve it. But wanting, and the way we're talking about wanting here today, is to envision it and hold that vision and be in gratitude, so you cleanse all of that other stuff that stands in the way. Get that debris out of your heart and out of your mind. Let's become leaders. Let's become part of the solution. Let's become the leaders in this universe, and let's attract goodness into our lives. Let's pave the way for others. I'm on board with that. I'm on board with that. I'm doing my work right now. Come and join me. Do your work right now. Create what you want and get it. Abundance not only is available for us, abundance is what we should have, because it empowers us to do our life's work, to be who we came here to be. So please be with me in this. Stop by bobtrask.com and leave a donation. Would you please do that? It'll help me continue to do this work. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And also, invite your friends to come to this channel. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's countless YouTube videos with different subjects. Come on board. Thank you.